and welcome to the pod. I'm your host, Grace. I'm with us with Paul, who's going to teach us all about how to become an impact campaigner. Thank you so much for joining me.
No, thank you so much for having me.
So please tell me what that is, because that's a very niche title.
It is essentially what people like myself try and do, is we try and change the world in sometimes small ways, sometimes big ways. And we do that by making campaigns, which is a large sort of broad term for marketing, advertising, stunts, things that get into the consciousness of the public.
Wow. So like breaking through in a different way.
Exactly, yeah.
Amazing. I've never really heard it explained like that, so I'm excited to learn all about it. But let's just go back to the beginning. And did you always want to be an impact campaigner?
No, I'm actually really lazy. So actually what I wanted to do when I was young was be a comic book artist. I wanted to draw. And then I worked out that was really hard work. So then I tried to be a comic book writer, which I've done. And I also was a writer for comedians. I wrote their jokes, I wrote their stand-up. And so then later in life, I worked out that I really, really loved animals and I wanted to help them. And because I'm lazy, I thought, how can I take those skills that I'm hopefully okay at and use it for a good purpose? And it was this.
Wow, that is incredible. Like what a link, what a way to do it. So when you were studying and stuff, like what was your career journey to this point?
So I really didn't have much of a career journey. So I grew up without a lot of money or opportunities. And my parents broke up when I was quite young and I had to pay the mortgage. And I was really too young to work because no one would have hired us like an overweight 16-year-old
Wow.
to do what I wanted to do. In that world, it was very much around design and marketing and advertising. And no one would have hired me. So what I did is I worked out, well, actually, if no one will hire me, maybe they'll hire a company. And so I made my own company. And then I hired people who were older than me to pretend to be me and go to meetings.
Wow, that was smart.
It was necessity. I'm not sure about smart. It was the only option open to me because if you're a Centre Parks or Vodafone or Guinness, who are my customers, you had a 16-year-old coming into your office telling you how you're going to do your marketing, you would have laughed them out of the room. Of course you would have done. So I hired somebody much posher than me, much better looking, much taller to be the face. And they just handed over my business card. And of course, when they phoned me or emailed me, they would never see my face.
That is wild. How did you know at that age how to do all that marketing stuff and start a business?
I think the thing that I've always had, whether it's good or bad, is I hopefully have known how to make people smile or make them laugh or make them feel welcome. And marketing and advertising is just doing that on a giant scale.
Yeah.
And if you kind of grow up with that kind of people-pleasing instinct, I think it's in you. It's just inherently in you. And so what I actually had to learn then was the tools by which to make it larger, broader, bigger, not the inherent way of actually messaging something.
That is amazing. So you just kept growing that business?
Yeah, it got quite big in the end. So that did really well. Then I got to a stage in my 30s where I wanted to help animals. And I also had a production company at that time. So I was doing TV shows and films. And what I thought was, well, can I apply these skills, if that's what you call them, that I have, and help animals? Because I could see that a lot of humans understandably moan about their life or say that their life is quite hard. And it is really hard, but it is nothing compared to the suffering of animals. So that's what I did.
That's amazing. So you built this company and you got into production. Now that's a bit of a different leg to marketing. How did that come about?
Again, I would actually say it's exactly the same leg.
Really?
Really, honestly, yeah. I mean, I've done all sorts. I've been an illustrator, I've been a writer, I've been a comedian, I've done like the impact campaigning stuff, I've been an entrepreneur, I've been a script writer, film, a producer, director. It's all the same thing.
Wow.
It's all just how do you make somebody else happy? And understanding what their life looks like and understanding the things that make them smile or make them laugh.
So a lot of transferable skills then, which is good to know.
Yeah.
That you can bounce around.
And I'd say anybody who has that desire to want to make someone's life a bit better, all of these are open to you. You just need to learn the tools of the trade. And that takes time. That isn't easy. But once you learn the tools of the trade, as long as you know how to make someone happy, you'll be fine.
That's a lovely message. So you got to your 30s and you wanted to help animals. So you've got this business. What's your first step into helping these animals?
So it's a charity, not a business, just to be super clear. So my first step was, again, lazy. So previously I've done a lot of work with creating content like comedy for comedians and people who went on TV, like speech writing and gag writing, that sort of stuff. So I kind of knew inherently how to write in somebody else's voice. So I thought to myself, well, I love comics. I love writing for other people. How can I combine those two things? And so what I did, I got together 120 people from all over the world. So people like Leonardo DiCaprio, Ricky Gervais, Jane Goodall, Ian McKellen, and said, what are the animals you most want to help? Will you join me in a brainstorm to make a story that will help them? And then I turned that into comics.
Wow.
And I made a book called The Most Important Comic Book on Earth, which had 120 of these stories in, and that raised a few £1 million. And we used that to buy with the World Land Trust, use that to buy a national park in Guatemala. And that saved 625 species from extinction.
Oh my gosh.
And that's what got me started, yeah.
That's a huge story. So how did you get these big names to hear you and like take notice? Like, were you already a big name, or was it really, what was your way about that?
No, I think it was 22,000 emails was how I did it.
Okay.
So I knew some people, but mostly it was just me understanding, and this is a message I'll say to everyone back who's listening to this, make things simple for people and most people will say yes.
Yeah.
You should work as the person asking. You should work really, really hard to make it simple. So I would write, truthfully, just one paragraph or maybe one line to someone like, hey, Ricky, do you want to help some dogs? That's it.
Right.
You know, and I put a little picture that I made or a little comic I made already. Or I went to Taika Waititi. Do you want to make a comic with me, mate? Put a picture of a comic that I thought you might like.
Nice.
And I just did that for loads of people. Each individual bespoke message. Here you go. Here you go. And to my surprise, we actually were oversubscribed. We were supposed to make a 100-page book, but in the last 2-3 weeks, we had folks like the McCartney family joining that, and it burgeoned from a 100-page book to be a 350-page book.
Oh my word.
Because there were so many people who came back. And then off the back of that, there was more again. So the Elbers, I worked with them. Robert Sheehan, I worked with him. Lots of folks came off the other end of it as well.
I think it's a really nice message that you don't have to overcomplicate things to make it happen, which is really nice, because I think sometimes you feel like you have to give them everything to try and get their attention, and then you're kind of saying the opposite.
Absolutely the opposite. I mean, like, I'll give you an example. If you're at home, you've had a party, it was a wild party, you had a fantastic night. The next day, the house is a mess. If you go to someone and say, right, we're to walk downstairs, pick out that dustpan and brushes in the third drawer down, get that dustpan and brush, go to the larder and get yourself a bin bag, get that bin bag, come back here, take the stuff off the floor, use a dustpan and brush, put it in the bin, then take it out to the recycling, you've lost everyone.
Yeah.
If you're like, let's just grab a drink, put some music on and tidy up.
Yeah. Nice. That'll work.
It'll work.
Yeah.
People inherently want to help.
Yeah.
People inherently are good. But if you make it hard for them, understandably, it feels like work, not play.
Yeah. Wow, I'm going to take that on myself. That's really good. So I think this is amazing that you made this book, because I know you said you'd made comics before. So did you just take the skills from that? I'm just trying to work out how you got to such a big thing. It's amazing. Like, I don't even know how, if I wanted to do this, where I'd even begin.
I can show you if you want. I mean, if you want to make a comic book, there's a very specific way that you do it. And the way that you do it is you make what's called a pitch document, and it's very simple. That's how you sell it to the publisher. And in that, you basically say who are the artists, the writers, and the creators you're going to be working with, and what's the subject matter. So it's just a pitch doc. And you want to fill that full of people which give the most amount of chance of success. The names who people will buy a comic just because it's got them in it. So that's how you do that piece. Then in terms of the creation of the story, just say yourself, if you had 5-10 seconds, what would be the core principle of that story? Is it about life? Is it about motherhood? Is it about friendship? And keep that right at the center of it. And then every single part of that story should be a branch on that tree. And just make it very, very small. So you may start with a 5-10 page comic. Can you make it a 2-page comic? Can you make it a 4-panel comic? Can you make it a 1-panel comic? That process of making it smaller and smaller and smaller will refine your writing ability. If you don't know already, there's a comic called 2000 AD, and they do these 4 or 5 page comic called Future Shocks. And that is a default of how you get into British comics writing, because they say if you can tell a compelling story about a new subject, about new people, and make me care within those 4 or 5 pages and shock me by the end, you can do anything.
Wow. That is a very good detailed way of explaining how to do a comic.
Thanks, I try.
So you did that, and that was the first steps into you helping the animals, and everything's kind of grown from there, because you've done so much, and you're a writer and a producer, and you've done interviews and stuff. So just tell me what the next steps were. Like, how did it snowball from there?
So I wanted to do it for a year and then retire. Honestly, I didn't plan on this. So my idea was I was running a few successful businesses, and I wanted to go back to doing that because I really like the money.
Yeah.
But as it turned out, the book, I wanted to actually sell more copies. I wanted to do more. And it didn't happen for a number of reasons, the biggest of which was COVID.
Right.
So actually the amount of money we raised was a lot less than I hoped. But the impact and the reach we had was much, much more. I was expecting, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views. We actually got nearly 500 million views, which is bonkers.
That is crazy.
To give you an idea, 500 million views is pretty much the same amount as the entirety of the environmental reach across all accounts, across everything.
Wait, sorry. So when you say views, this isn't people physically having the comic. This is
online. So
online.
We took the comics, we put them on social media, and they went bonkers.
Yeah.
So I can show you one afterwards if you want.
Yeah.
And it went so well that a lot of people in the environmental sector said, look, you need to keep doing this. You're breaking through to audiences we cannot break through to.
Wow.
Can you keep doing what you're doing? And I said, I'd really rather not. But then actually I found, I made a charity, Rewriting Earth, and what we are is like a creative agency for the planet. And I loved it. Honestly, Grace, loved it. It's so wonderful when you can see that you've done a campaign or a story or a video, and at the other end of it, maybe an entire species has been saved. Maybe a law has been changed. So we worked, for example, on the Global Oceans Treaty.
Right.
And if you don't know about that, that means that 30% of the world's oceans will become unfished.
Oh, right.
Currently is under 1%.
Right.
And the science says if you were to leave 37% of the world's oceans unfished, the amount of repopulation of fish would absorb all of humanity's carbon.
Wow.
So it would basically negate the bad impact humanity has on Earth. And that's world changing.
Yeah, that's staggering.
We're only a small part of that, of course. I think we delivered about 1.5 million signatures of the 5 that were needed. But still, to be part of that, look back in your life and say, well, actually, my life actually meant something. What a great thing that is.
That is amazing. And that must be a big driver for you. That because if you only plan to do it for a year and it's snowballed to this big thing, that must keep driving you to keep going.
It's the only thing, because it's definitely not the money.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So this is something you have to go in for the passion. And if you want the money or need money, then you kind of have to do something on the side as well.
Well, I mean, most people get paid. I mean, charity work still does pay. You still get paid to do it. But it's just like you're not going to be driving sports cars and having nice holidays. Yeah. Put it that way.
Got you. You got to do it for the love of it.
Absolutely. But you can do things on the side. So I would recommend anyone getting into kind of conservationism, environmentalism, have your day job, but have a side hustle. Have a side hustle where you can get paid well for doing what you do, and then use that to prop up your income, or just to also get away. Because being in conservation world, you have a lot of losses and very few wins. And if you have all of your heart in that one place, you will get battered.
Really?
So yeah, have things on the side. Have your own side books. Have your own podcasts. Have your TV shows or films that you're making, whatever it might be. Don't have all of your eggs in one cliche basket.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's also quite important. What it sounds like is you need to be very good at like networking and being able to pull people in to help you.
It depends on what you're doing.
Okay.
So there's loads of different people in sort of impact campaigning and impact work. My role is very much a people person. So I spend a lot of my time trying to understand the people who we're not reaching. So before this podcast, I was sat in the pub next door. I was talking to the barman about, what he likes and what does he find makes him happy. Maybe I'll learn something from that barman that I'll use in my next campaign. Just got to have this appetite for understanding people who aren't like you.
I love that. You're very curious.
Yeah. Yeah, I am very curious in both meanings of the word. Yeah. Just a very curious looking guy.
No. But I think it's so nice that you want to keep learning, and because the way you're speaking about obviously the impact that on Earth and everything you're doing for that, you must keep learning about that as you go as well. You kind of come into this knowing all these facts and being like, I'm going to make this bigger difference. That's got to have grown with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, every day is a school day, and I didn't like school, so
you're just learning it now in something that you love.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know if I really like making things simpler and not harder. And I think for me, that's where a lot of campaigners and impact campaigners go wrong, is they try and make it so that the audience understands something that they care about. So picture a war.
Yeah.
So in a war, there's obviously children, parents, animals all dying. And most people are inherently good. They want to help. They want to know what they can do to help. And what a lot of campaign people and impact campaigners do is they try and help the audience understand the causes of the war, the reasons for the war. They want to make them care about the war, not the impact of the war, but the war itself. Now that supposes that the person at the other end has the emotional intelligence, has the space in their life, they have the desire to learn about the thing. What you're doing by trying to explain why something happens is you're trying to elicit a different type of response from somebody. And the problem with that, the problem I have with that, is it's inherently quite a selfish thing to do. Because I'm saying, hey, Grace, you need to care about this thing, not just help it, you need to care about it. And I don't know your life. I don't know what your life looks like and how much time you have. But actually what I think is really important is I say to you, look, Grace, this is how you can help. And then if you want to help, then I can explain some more. But first, just do this simple thing and it will be your help. It will be better because of your investment of time, money, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And a lot of campaign, if there's anyone listening to this who want to get into impact campaign work, I would say if people aren't engaging with you trying to teach them, that is a failure on your imagination, not on their humanity.
Nice.
You should be working really, really hard to make it really, really simple. If you're saying, okay, well, I don't know, I need 15 pages of text, I need a 20-minute video to explain why it's important, then you need to work harder. Because otherwise what you're trying to say is that the other person, the person at home, has to give their precious, valuable time, energy, and love for your cause.
Yeah. It's an amazing way to think of it, actually, because you're right. You think you can go out there and educate people and stuff, but if it's too hard for people, they're just not even going to engage with it. So you need to keep being creative with it, really.
Yeah, exactly. But also, I mean, say, I don't know your life, but say you might have like a disabled child at home. And while I'm trying to tell you about that war, that child's screaming and needs your help. And I'm trying to say, no, take your attention away from your child and give it to me.
Yeah.
Or maybe you've got a partner who's going through some real tough times. Maybe you've got a parent who's getting a cancer diagnosis that day. What that is doing is, the attention is so important nowadays. People's attention is pulled in 100,000 directions. If you're saying you want someone's attention, you've got to give them something, either making them happy or making them interested. Just screaming at them, hey, you need to listen to me. As I say, I think that's a failure in your imagination, not on their humanity.
Yeah, that is a really good message. I think that's going to help like a lot of people when they're trying to spread whatever they believe in. So now you've always been in production and stuff, but you said you're making films.
Yes.
And so how did this come about?
So I've been working in films and TV for the last sort of 15, 20 years now. And so it's just a natural progression. The only thing that's changed now is previously I stood quite a long way behind the camera. So I'd work in development and I would take ideas from often quite well-known people and I'd help them craft it to be able to sell that film to a studio. And I'd be nowhere near the credits, nowhere near the stuff. I would do my piece and I'd walk away. Now I'm starting to be a bit more front of camera. So now I'm directing, I'm writing, I'm even acting in some stuff. And the reason for that is that the more control I have over a film production, the more I can make it mean something. And so I'm working on a horror film at the moment. And the idea is that's a non-for-profit horror film.
Right.
So that if you go to see my film, you know that the money you've paid will actually physically help an animal. And so it's not just going in the pockets of an already rich company or studio.
Yeah.
It's combining that charity and entertainment world.
It's another creative way of getting people to help.
Exactly, yeah. And they're basically, rather than just saying, hey, I want you to donate 15 quid,
Yeah.
come watch a movie. It's going to have some great stars in it.
Yeah.
It's got a great soundtrack. It's going to have some great storylines and you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm asking of you.
You get like rewarded for what you're doing anyway.
Exactly.
Do you find whenever you embark on a new project or a new thing, you know, do you always just feel comfortable diving in? Do you get nervous? Because I feel like you just do loads of new things and that's quite amazing.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't get nervous. I don't know why. I think
Nice.
that bit of my brain was just turned off.
Yeah.
I do get nervous at other things. I'm not like completely without emotion, just to be clear.
Yeah.
But I always think that with stuff, it's all made up.
Yeah.
And everything's made up. TV shows are made up. Words are made up. These noises we're making of our throat. At some point, we just said, "Oh, that sounds nice. Let's keep doing that." So everything, whether it's dancing, whether it's acting, whether it's comics, whether it's writing, is all just made up stuff. Stuff that humanity's done to keep us happy.
Yeah.
And if somebody else can learn it, so can I.
I love that. It's so true. Everything is just made up. It makes things feel a lot more like a lot less high pressure, doesn't it? It normalizes things when you look at it that way.
I saw a really incredible photograph. No, it's an illustration yesterday I saw, and it's absolutely stuck with me. And I wasn't going to talk about it today, but I want to because it's just so cool. It's of a guy in a bath, and the water is just below his lips, just above his chin, below his lips. And it looks, when you look at it, it looks like he's going to drown soon. It just says the words, "This guy's okay." And what it's talking about there is saying, you may think that he's going to drown, but the water isn't touching his mouth. He's fine.
Yeah.
And I think so much of our lives are like that. We're worried about what might happen and the impending nature of it, rather than thinking, actually, do you know what? I'm fine.
Yeah.
And that really got to me, that.
100%. That's got to me. You
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to send me it. I need to see this picture.
Yeah, I literally I was just like doom scrolling. I saw it. I was like, oh man, I need to get that. And you know, that app refresh thing where you put your phone down from it, you open it up again, it goes. I'm like,
yeah, it's so annoying. It's really nice though when something stays with you like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that inspires you for like your future work and what you're going to do next. Like, what's been one of your biggest, since you've become like an impact campaigner and making such a difference, what's been one of the biggest highlights?
Actually, the biggest highlight is actually quite sad. Well, there's been loads. Okay, I'll cover some of the professional ones first.
Sure.
So the Global Oceans Treaty, 30% in the oceans.
Yeah.
That's world changing.
That is world changing.
And yeah, I only had a small part in it. So that, you know, but
Still a part though.
And the Swift brick law. So all in Scotland, all new buildings will have little bricks installed so that swifts can come and nest in them. So without going into loads of detail, swifts used to nest in all of our roofs. We filled all of our roofs in with insulation.
Right.
So they're dying out. Now, every new building in Scotland, because of the work that we did with Hannibal and Taylor and RSPB, will have a swift brick in it, which means that their populations will start to go on the rise again.
That's amazing.
These are all great things. I'm really happy that I'm working on a film at the moment, so that's quite a nice thing. That's with DiCaprio and Jane Goodall, who I was really close friends with. That's a big moment, and I'm also working on the horror film I just mentioned. That's a big moment. I'm also working on a posthumous book that Jane Goodall and I were working on together, so that's a big moment.
It's huge.
I really think actually, it sounds so sad, but I really think that the proudest moment I've ever had, and actually I get a bit emotional thinking about it because I never thought this would happen. I was on a train to Taunton and there was these really, really leery young men. They were like shouting at each other and stuff. I was like, oh God, here we go. I turned around and they were looking at one of my comics.
No way.
It was really funny because I was sitting next to one of them and he was watching. I think it was a Instagram live I did with, I think it might be Andy Serkis. And he was looking at my stuff, passing it backwards and forwards to his mate. And I was like side-eyeing, looking down.
That's amazing.
Such a weird thing. I don't know how celebrities do it.
Yeah, that is crazy.
How you can actually sit next to somebody who's watching your stuff.
Yeah. Does it feel like really weird? Do you ever get like an imposter syndrome with this stuff? Or when you're with the big stars or the big names or...
No. I'd love to say I don't at all because...
I love that.
Having known and worked with people like this for a long, long time, I just know that actually the biggest stars, they just work a lot harder than people recognize.
Really?
They are just they're often on the neurodivergent spectrum, and they're often incredible perfectionists.
Yeah.
And there's no mystical ability. They just work really hard, and they're incredibly good at what they do. And so I don't get imposter syndrome, because I think to myself, if I can just work as hard, I can do that too.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah.
I think that's wonderful, because you hear about it so much, and I think it's nice to know that somebody doesn't get that, works hard and just loves what they do and keeps achieving things. Although you're doing a lot of stuff and you mention a lot of different animals, does it ever get overwhelming? Do you ever think you have to say no to a project?
Yes. So I often have to say no, because I get somewhere in the region of 200 to 400 messages a day.
Oh my word. How do you even go through that?
It is very hard. Yeah, it is really hard. And I won't lie, most of my life is just reading and replying to messages.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have to say no to a lot of people. And unfortunately, one thing, if anyone's listening, please stop sending me videos of animals suffering.
Yes, that's fair.
I get crap loads of charities saying, look at this suffering. Why will you not work on my project?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I already am working on this stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe not with your charity, but I'm working on that issue. And it's like, you don't need to send me like pictures of cows getting bludgeoned. I know, I'm already working on that stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
And so that's difficult. And the way I try and do it is I just try and do a bit of a vibe check early on. Like, I'll just try and see if the person is actually someone I think that I would like to be stuck in an elevator with for an hour.
Yeah, nice. That's a good rule.
And if it is, I'm like, great, let's do something. So I will work with any charity of any size, but please stop sending me videos of animals dying.
Yeah, I think that's a fair message. If somebody wants to get into it and they're a young person, what's your main bits of advice for them, and what's going to make them really good at this?
Try and find something that you actually enjoy doing.
Yeah.
That would be the thing. And I'll say also listen rather than shout. So the more you can listen in any part of life, the better. So if you're so one thing I try and say to a lot of climate scientists is, they're saying, why aren't people listening to us? We're trying to tell them the climate science. Why aren't they listening? And I'm saying, dude, you're a scientist. If you're saying the same thing again and again, and the results aren't working, why are you not listening to the results?
Yeah.
Listen. If you're putting stuff out on social media and it's not working, listen.
Totally.
If you're basically going into the street and shouting at people saying, go vegan, they're not listening. Listen, why are they're giving you a message by not interacting with you. Find what they will interact with. Spend some time in places that you're not comfortable. If you are, say, I don't know, like quite a left-leaning liberal person, go spend time in the local betting shop. Go to your local Weatherspoons. Go chat to the barman or the local barber, or go talk to somebody who's maybe outside the job centre looking for work, and try and tell them about why you think it's important they should be a vegan, and hear how their life is. Hear how they're struggling to put food on the table. That will teach you more than any book, any podcast, any video, any self-help tape. Go and meet people and then work out how you can help them and you. And that's the best bit of advice I can give.
I think that's phenomenal. And I think that's like would transfer into a lot of different industries as well. Like listening more is very, very important, because we also get served so much out there, right? Like on social, and it's like you want to make sure you're cutting through and being honest and clear with who you're targeting.
Yeah.
Definitely. What's like the biggest goal? What's the dream for you?
I would love to stop working.
Yeah.
Honestly, that is my goal. I would love to be able to think to myself, actually, do you know what? It's going to be okay. And I'm not there yet, because I don't think it is going to be okay. But I'd love to be able to look out at the world and see that the natural habitat, the homes that animals have, is getting bigger rather than getting smaller.
Yeah.
And that the problems they suffer are going down rather than going up. Once I think the trajectory of the world is that they are improving, things for them are improving, that's my goal.
How far off do you think we are of that?
So I think until 2035, things are going to be very hard. Temperatures are going to rise.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is those temperatures are going to really hit hard. We're going to have a lot of climate migrancy.
Okay.
People are going to leave countries and they're going to emigrate to the colder, more sensible climes, that's going to cause an enormous amount of problems in both people movement and animals care. Animals get left behind, crops will fail, it'll be bad. But I think that humanity will be okay, and I think we'll leave that homework to the last minute. And I think if you go forward to probably 2043, we'll have started to see that the fossil fuel usage has gone down enough that the planet starts to heal. And then all those places where people have moved out for will start to burgeon back into life. So I think we've got probably, 18 hard years with in 3 years' time for another 10 is going to be particularly hard, but then we'll start to see the roots of recovery.
Does that mean you have to keep working for another 18 years?
I hope not.
It feels like a long time when you're doing so much already.
Or I'm old, or maybe you're saying I'm old.
No,
Grace.
definitely
That's what
not.
you mean.
Not what I'm saying, I swear. As the average Joe, what the changes I can make right now?
Environmentally,
Yeah.
just care.
That's
Honestly,
it.
just literally just care. And if you basically, I don't think that everyone in the world needs to go vegan, vegetarian, use renewables, drive electric cars. But don't be an enemy
Yeah.
to those people.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you, using that party analogy before, we've woken up, think of the world like a house party. For years, humanity's been treating it like crap and it's got stuff everywhere. We've smashed windows and the house is a mess. Just recognize if somebody else is tidying up and working really hard, they're not your enemy. They're not trying to make you feel bad. They're just trying to tidy the house. Give them a hand or get out of the way.
Yeah.
You don't need to make that your fight in the world to say, this person's making me feel like I'm a bad person and attack them. Just leave them to it.
Yeah. I feel like there's so many snippets in here that people are just going to love that they can just take away, which is great.
Soundbite stamp.
Yeah, literally. But that was amazing. I think it's a really, really interesting journey, and I think it will inspire a lot of people that want to make a difference. And I just don't think people really know where to start. So I think it's nice.
I mean, I'd say as well, also, anyone who wants to help, just drop me a message. I'm on @PaulGoodenough at every channel, and I answer all my messages. That's why I have 400 a day.
Yes, I was going to say that's why people keep coming.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's the case of someone's got like 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, here's a simple thing.
Yeah.
Someone's got 5 days, I'm like, here's a simple thing. I'll always just try and make it easy for them.
Yeah, well, you're doing an amazing job. I think that was really inspiring.
I find there's a direct correlation between the financial state of the world and how much the care is for animals from people. And it's just that traditional syndrome. If you're struggling to put food on the plate, or you're struggling to keep your business going, or you're struggling to hire people, animals go further down on the priority list. And so I always notice there's a direct correlation between what the planet is doing and the amount of money that's available to use.
That's such an interesting point. I've never thought about that. But I guess it's just prioritizing, isn't it?
It is. And I think, so my dad spoke about this quite a lot. When he was growing up, he was told by his dad, the people you should care about is your family and your job. He said, that's your two responsibilities, your family and your job. And he said, great. Then when he got into his 20s, it was like, okay, your family, job and your friends. Got into his 30s, and it started to get towards the 1970s. And it's okay, you need to always care about war. Then towards the 80s, it's about women and gay people. Into the 90s, about the AIDS epidemic and obviously the drought and the problems in Africa. And then got into the 90s, and it was all about equality and equity of money. Then the 2000s, it became gay rights. In 2010s, it became about migrant rights. And he said he got to the stage where he felt he couldn't care about everything.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's something that a lot of people find nowadays, is that they have to know so much.
Yeah.
And they have to care about so much. And that's why I think we've seen a rise of far-right behaviour, which simplifies the world, and why people like Donald Trump and Farage have done so well, is because they give you one thing. Grace, I want you to care about this one thing and this one thing only. This is everything. This is everything, this one thing. Whereas I think people on the progressive side of things, we've got 1,000 things people to care about.
Like, people get overwhelmed.
Of course they do. We're all human.
Yeah, definitely.
And we all don't have the same emotional and mental capacity to carry all this stuff. And that's why I keep just saying, make it simple. The simpler you can make it, the more people will be able to help.
Is there any last words of wisdom from your impact campaigning?
All I'll say is, anyone listening or watching at home, just know there's this one quote that Jane Goodall always said, which if you don't think one person can make a difference, try spending a night in a room with a mosquito.
I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching How to Become A. Please like and subscribe and share with everybody you know so we can continue to interview many different industries and share their stories with you. Thank you so much for the support.